It's day 13 of Inktober, and I had a few ideas for today's prompt, which is rise. My first idea was perhaps we could do a series of sort of plants growing, maybe a sunflower in a series across the page. I then went the other route and thought, undead or something amusing like that. Decided that one wasn't in my wheelhouse. And then I thought, what about like a watering can? A watering can and some plants. That's the same idea, but it's perhaps a more interesting still life. So I went looking for a photo, and this is what we're going to do today. So, as with all of my sketching, it's going to start with shapes, and we're going to start with our ink. And I must confess, this is another little bit of a cheat. Just like yesterday, I've decided to give myself a break from the rigours of ink-only sketching, and we're doing some ink and watercolours, but still focusing on that ink sketch as a key part to keep it within Inktober. What I'm doing at the outset is identifying the big shapes. So I've basically identified 4 flowers, each of which is a circle, but that circle has a lot of texture. So I'm trying to find the texture that that circle has, those leaves, those petals rather. I always call petals leaves and vice versa for some reason. And then we can immediately have picked out the really key features of our scene and be ready to introduce a little bit more of a suggestion of those petals in the future as well. The leaves are important because they are a key part of how this sort of scene is framed. And the other bit, which is really useful to get in, is the centre of the flowers. So by identifying the centre of the flowers, you point it in the right direction. And then I just find a few occasional petals, getting the idea of the perspective that they're in. Can we see the flat of the petal, just the tip? Again, that points our flower in the right direction. In this one, we get the centre, nice dark area in the centre, and then a few petals in the kind of shape that we can see them. Enough just to show the idea of the flower and the direction it's pointing. This is a sketch. This is not a photorealistic drawing. We cannot rub things out. And so what we need to do is enough, but not too much. Enough to show what we're talking about or what we're drawing, but not so much that it goes just wrong. And when it's gone wrong, we've lost it. And it's very difficult to get it back with ink if we've done too much rather than done too little. Next, we can move on and get the rest of the scene really incorporated. Remember, this is all about those flowers rising out of the watering can, of course, which itself gives rise to flowers. That's my my very dubious logic for having chosen this scene. The watering can is fairly important as a simple shape. Nothing else in this scene is important. So I don't know what this flat object is. It looks almost like our kitchen scales. And then the towel off to the right has obviously been put there for composition. Again, it's not important. It's a white fluffy object. I'm going to just turn it into some white circles. Again, these shapes mirror the shapes elsewhere, but they're not intrusive. So hopefully they help with the composition, but they don't overtake it and they don't become excessively important. The table is very important. In a still life, it's very important to get the line where the objects are sitting on, so the table, and that pulls it apart from the wall. And it means that no longer is this watering can floating. Now it is sitting. So that's a really important thing to do. Moving on a little bit, just applying some gentle tonal marks, those little sort of hatches to start to suggest where shadows and reflection are. This isn't going to be an important part of my scene though, just the enough for the shape, enough to show this is a cylindrical object. And then really we can move on and start applying our loose colours. Before I do that, I had forgotten to just pull apart these leaves a little bit more, and I'd left out one of the leaves which kind of again filled the composition. So the leaf which is underneath the flowers had just not been filled out. I also, normally I'd leave restructuring to the end, but I felt actually at this point, prior to the colours, it might be quite useful just to have a clearer idea of which shapes are my flowers. And then, having done that, hopefully suddenly this scene actually comes to life. And I could finish here, and I'd be happy to call this my Inktober sketch. It's taken about 5 minutes, and that is as long as I want to necessarily spend on sketches for Inktober. And you may want to spend a lot longer, so people may complain that this isn't realistic and you should do better and things like this. But for me, we are stretching ourselves by doing scenes which are forced upon us in a sense by these prompts. So I didn't want to sort of take that force. I wanted to just do my own thing, and that's what I'm doing. So here, onto the loose colours. Normally I float and flow those colours all over the page. For this, I thought it might be fun to take my Scarlet Lake, water it down so we get a bit of a pink, and also take some Perylene Violet and water that down so we get like a deep pink or a purple. And then just be quite specific, leave a lot of light, a lot of white space. Use the colours to introduce a lot of texture. Instead of using them to soften and to link, this time I'm using the colours a little bit of linking, especially with that violet, the Perylene Violet. But some of these reds and pinks, I'm actually using it to introduce texture, which I think is, obviously it's a different way of doing things to normal, but quite nice for still lives to really focus all that texture going on. Now, I don't know if you can hear, but there is currently some children playing outside, and they're definitely screaming through the window. If it doesn't come through the microphone, then I sound like an idiot. If it is coming through the microphone, then I assure you that that screaming is a child having a lot of fun, not a sort of bad thing happening. Anyway, I digress. And what I'm doing, I'm continuing to pop down little patches to suggest petals, a red petal here, a purple petal here, getting the idea of all of this chaos going on. And it is pretty chaotic inside these petals, isn't it? A few splashes does the same. And I thought, maybe a bit of yellow would actually offset it. And I then really quickly regretted that. And that's okay. It's okay to do things which you regret. Thankfully, because I have a habit of using a lot of water and being quite gentle at the beginning, I think by the end we don't notice that yellow at all. And so that, again, just like starting off really gently with our ink, I think starting off really gently with your colours is really important. And for now, I'm going to leave it there. There's a lot going on. I need to see what happens when it dries, because it will look very different. Watercolours look much more subtle and transparent when they dry. And I'm going to move on to a little bit more sort of tone or just something else going on in this watering can. Now, I know the watering can is white, but if you squint and if you ignore that weighing scale or whatever it is, actually some of the darks in the watering can are some of the darkest areas of our reference. And since I'm basically ignoring that dark object, I need to amp up those darks in the watering can. Well, this is my justification for how dark I'm making this shadow anyway. I need to amp up those darks a little bit so that we have some contrast, some extra contrast going in our scene. And so we don't just have this one tiny burst of colour in the flowers and everything else a bit bland and white. So that's why I've increased the amount of shadow going on there. I also want to make it interesting. So I've let some white gaps. I'm splashing on some water now to let that flow, and then I can move on. There's a little bit of green. It's actually cobalt green, which is a colour I've recently acquired, and I actually really like it. It's not yet in my palette properly, just a little dot of it up there, which I'm using to have a play with. But it's quite vibrant, and it has a nice, that cobalty texture to it. Now just dropping in some of those greens and reds again, just to make the watering can a little bit more interesting in the shadows. And it's time to have a little sort of sit back and decide, is there anything else we need to do? And I had a look and I thought, yeah, okay, already some of these watercolours have sort of died back, and I want some more punchy reds in there. Now the watering can perhaps has just made the flowers seem more pale because it's now got that boldness, and the greens are there. So a few more punchy areas of red, a few more red splashes. I know that'll be a divisive thing. Not everyone loves the red splashes as much as me. Missed out a shadow here and there, which I think is important to add in. But then we're pretty much pretty much done with this layer of colour. What we can do, having let it dry, is just see, do we need to restructure? Do we need any more colour? Or what's the next step to do? So we are dry now, and you can see how much softer things have become. Actually, some of the punchy colours are still there, so I don't think I need to go and add any more bolder colours, certainly not at this stage. Instead, I can come in and I can do what I always call restructuring. Restructuring, adding a bit of extra dark contrast. And here, the restructuring is using my same pen to find those key shapes, those petals we've added. Some of them I've sort of painted within ink marks already made. Many of them are new, and many of the shapes have been made by the watercolour doing whatever the watercolour wants to do, which is what I like to happen, is how I like my watercolours to act, on their own. And so now I'm just finding some of those shapes. I don't want to overdo this. It's important we keep that outline, that contour, as a really key delineator, sort of picking apart our different flowers. But at the same time, I do want a bit more going on, and I want to make it clear that some of these shapes are on purpose. And in ink and watercolour, in line and wash, and for Inktober, I think it's important that ink plays a big part in this sketch. So that's pretty much exactly what I'm trying to do. What you might notice as we do this is we do actually lose some of the contour. I thought I'll do some hatching. That helps with the contour actually, because suddenly, do you notice how we have light and dark next to each other? And that pushes forward the contour. So where one flower's dark edge is against another flower's light edge, it pushes forward the contour. The same with these little hatching marks in a few places. It pushes forward by providing that 3D feel with simple shadow. It pushes forward some of that contour. It separates out objects quite neatly from light and dark. But still, perhaps we've lost a bit. And that's sort of what I'm feeling in other places as well. I want this watering can to stand out a bit more. So easily corrected, which is great because we start really gentle. All I'm doing now is I'm being a lot less gentle. I'm using my fountain pen, pressing fairly hard, getting a bolder line. It also gives me an opportunity to correct things like that. Sort of nozzle to the watering can is a bit cartoonishly wonky, and I think I corrected it a little bit there. Maybe not perfectly, but just enough correction to make me feel a bit better about it, which is enough for me at least. Any more and I think you risk overdoing it. Again, we can just move around and increase some of this kind of hatching in a few places to try and get these contours popping out a little bit more. We have decisions to make about whether we need to add any more line to the flowers or not. And often just taking a step back, working on other areas, increasing the hatching, increasing the ink, again for Inktober, increasing these ink values elsewhere, gives you enough time and space to decide what you do and don't need to do. And actually for me, I rather like how things are sort of standing out, but sort of melded together, very much like the photo. And there you go, that is my sketch done. Have a go yourself, let me know in the comments what you think and what you're doing for today's prompt. So thank you everyone for watching my little sketching videos. If you enjoy my content, please do subscribe to my channel because it makes me really, really happy. Thanks again.